waited so long. Oh! So good. Hope you all enjoy. Hey there, Potato here. Happy Apache Day to everyone celebrating here in Eagle Dynamics. It also happens to be St. Patrick's Day, coinciding with a green helicopter release. I think that that's mighty appropriate for Eagle Dynamics displaying their spirit in that holiday and sense. I'm here sitting at the Bravo FARP pad here in the DCS rotorheads server in the H64D Block 2, and I'm going to go over my online startup procedure. First, I'm going to go ahead and close my canopy, and Georgie over there will close his accordingly. Next, I'm going to go here and I'm going to right-click and turn my battery to an on position, and immediately I'm going to go ahead and click my APU. Now I'm going to go into my other menu and rearm and refuel. I'm not going to take a lot of fuel, honestly. The rotorheads style of combat is more quick, more fast-paced than real life. 50% fuel is roughly an hour to an hour and a half of goodies, hour and a half of uptime, shall we say. If you even have like a bunch of Hellfires on, if you're super heavy, if you have a bunch of fuel. Of course, we go to do the honors. Now that we are rearming and refueling, I'm going to go over a couple of things in the utilities page and the TSD. I'm just going to keep this up and keep my eye on this number right here. I will turn the iHads off for all of you. Obviously, these are going to go off and on all the time, but next I'm going to be starting my left generator, my generator number 1. As you can see, it's labeled number 1 right here. You're going to get a rotor RPM low warning. I'm going to wait for the oil pressure to settle below 70, and then I'm going to uncage this throttle right here, and we're going to get a response for bringing up this first engine. That will coincidentally spool the rotors. Now, if you notice, the rotors spin counterclockwise. It's very traditional in American helicopters, which means we are going to be implementing left rudder and a little bit of left stick in ideal conditions. But today is so crazy windy again in the Caucasus that the trim is just a headache, honestly. Now that the rotor RPM is settled enough in the oil PSI to uncage that throttle on engine number 1, we'll uncage it. Start to spool. We're going to wait for this to settle at its bottom and then bring it to the top before we start number 2. Next, I'm going to go to the weapons page and I'm going to see the status of what's going on. Looks like we've refueled enough. Just finishing up the Hellfires over here. Georgie's sitting comfortable in the front over here. Now that the rotor RPM on the engine number 1 has settled to its power level and its oil PSI, we can just kind of incidentally bring this to the top of its power band here, and at the same time start this engine number 2. As we wait for engine number 2 to come on, we're going to just make sure that all of our controls for the George are selected. Good to go. We'll hold right click on this and bring it up to center. Markers look good. Parking brake is still good. Let's see, is my oil PSI, has it okay. Now we're going to uncage our throttle. It's right shift and home for the default. Engine 2 is going to rise in temperature. We're going to see it rise in power as well. Next, we're going to increase the throttle on engine number 2. And we're going to ensure that our generators in both generator pages are taken care of. After all of the engines are settled, we can turn off the APU by clicking it here and recaging it with the cover. Next, you can choose to turn back down the primary bore sight brightness knob, but you do not have to. Next, we're going to check to make sure all of our weapons are on. In the weapons page here, we're going to click our manual ranging. We're going to press A for automatic and press enter. Next, we're going to go down here to our primary bore sight reticle brightness knob. Next, we're going to hit our bore sight button and align our bore sight with our eye. Eye heads. We're going to turn the eye heads on here. We're going to point the eye heads in the middle as close as we can get it, and we're going to press that button. Ooh. Eye heads bore sight is now aligned. The way you can check this is you go into the video here, upper right hand corner, you get the TADs, and then you click the TADs again here, and you will no longer see the warning that says eye heads not aligned. You will no longer get that. You'll be good to go, basically. Last thing we're going to do is go back into our TSD, utility, 008, that's as close as we're going to get it. We're going to go back into our weapons. Actually, we're going to, go into our DMS first, so this M page brings us to our DMS. Press it again, go into our faults, and clear them all. Back into the DMS page, we're going to go to fuel, and we're going to link our auxiliary. And you should see this come up. Next thing we should do is we go into our weapon, and we go into the utility of our weapon, and we ensure that the missile is on. And yeah, after that, again, just double check your utility page that your INS is aligned. We're going to turn our Doppler on. The next thing I want to teach you is what you can do with these MFDs. You're seeing right now the TADs in the background of this MFD, and then now you can see me implement the weapon screen over it. You can see me implement the engine control, flight control, fuel, peripherals, other utilities if this is what you want to do. You can even go into the TSD here and mess around with centering it, getting all your stuff ready to go, and let's say you want to make an attack run, right? And then you can go back into your TAD so you can see what's going on. And let's say you wanted to have your AFC up. You can have your AFC in the background of your TSD, of your TAD, your ASD in the background of your TADs, and your CPG, whatever he's looking at, that's what this will be. And I'll show you an example of this in working combat. After releasing my parking brake, I'm going to turn the CMOS on to the warning, audible warning for it. I'm going to arm it, turn it to bypass, because I do not want it to automatically launch these. I want it to tell me what's up, because sometimes it will launch it when friendlies shoot friendly Hellfires in the air, in the area. Next, we're going to go over the trim and what I believe the trim should be for a non-windy day and how you should set it. The trim, I've asked several people and nobody can really give me a good answer, so I'm asking some professionals, i.e. some other YouTubers on their community pages, to see if they can give me or us a better response for how we should be properly trimming the Apache, because I'm not used to a rudder trim as well as a cyclic trim. Cyclic trim, nothing new to me. Easy day, prefer it, love it, it's the best. No trimmer reset? What? Okay, sure. Very interesting design if that's how it is, but my brain does not compute very well. But okay, we can make this do. Force rudder pedal trim with no trimmer reset? Oh lord, here we go. Time to rewire the brain, time to rework my knowledge of everything I know regarding DCS helicopters so far. Love this module, and it's a lot of collective work, it's a lot of cyclic work, not a lot of collective work, or not much rudder pedal work in my opinion. windy day kind of changes that. I feel like you fly this thing a lot more, and that's such a good thing. It's very good, and very capable night attack helicopter in DCS. Yes, please. But with all of that out of the way, that is the cold start for the Apache. We're going to take off here, fly to the battle zone, give you an example of what Georgie's like, the Hellfire system itself with the AI, how to fly this thing kind of nap of the Earth. So it's a windy day here today, so like the rudder of course is going to be a little bit to the left because I want the natural inclination of left pedal to collective pull. That's just what my brain's kind of wired to, but because it's so windy, I think the trim's going to be kind of more out here. We're off on the brakes here. We're just going to double check them up in the left hand corner there. We're going to turn the iHeads back on, start pull collective around 40, 45, which you see the nose start to billet left or right, and we're seeing it hit left. So we're just going to correct it. And you're going to see the wind kind of pick up here. The moment we point our nose into the wind, it starts to stabilize a little bit. Why does it do that? Well, the wind, especially in a very high windy scenario like this, provides lift underneath your rotor blades. And it helps you really like stabilize the nose. It has to do a lot with the aerodynamics of the helicopter as well. Imagine this thing like it's flying like it would like whatever the wind speed is when it's still. So it's not, you know, as stable as a platform as a hovering helicopter is, but that's not really stable anyways because it's asymmetrical. Yeah, it's just a headache. In DCS, you only have your Mach 1 eyeballs, so, you know, yeah, you can only, we get to, you can only do as best as you can, you know. I don't have $1 million sim, like I've said before, so maybe one day. But we'll check back in when we're near the battle zone, and we'll go over Georgie a little bit. With the George AI selected, we can WAS either the gun, or WAS back the Hellfire.
Hellfire's up.
When we have radar-guided Hellfires, with the implementation of the air-to-ground radar system, we will eventually be able to turn this into, out of Salvo 2, into a different type for the radar type. Right now, if you press down on the Georgie button, he will unslave whatever target that he's got and return the TADs back to either center or like whatever that looking combat zone mode is. I know that a lot of the TADs is based off of where I look through the pilot helmet display system with Georgie, and that's great because anytime that I have that little Georgie button pulled up, we can get him to look at a target. So I know that the battle zone is this city over here. I'm going to climb here. I'm going to try and get Georgie to look at a target. Slave the TADs to this area, and he's going to search for something. And you can continue to press up until you find a target. And you see I've got some short-range SAMs here.
Target stored.
Seems to be potentially a person. I'm going to double check that that is friendly or enemy. That subsequently is enemy. I can confirm through looking at the MPD here. It looks like a moving convoy of sorts, maybe a man-pad. Okay, well, Georgie says it's enemy and it needs to go. What we're going to do is we're going to now slew the TSD. Actually, we're going to go here, video, TADs, and look at what he's looking at. The reason I'm going to do that is so I can get a reference of where this target is. This target seems to be very, very far away. If you get an instance where the target is far away like this, it's okay to just reselect and confirm your position on the map. We are up north. This is the enemy city. Hold Georgie up.
Slaving. Deslaving.
Deslave him. Have him recover different areas near the enemy positions. Eventually he will come up with an enemy target.
Slaving. I'm deslaving. And
be very careful when you egress into an area like this. We have the CMWS on, CMOS.
deslaving.
But anything can happen, you know. Look at all of the wind. Look at all the chimney smoke.
And
Tell
I'm
that's how
deslabing.
windy it is today. Wind's coming into the west,
And
blowing westward.
I'm deslaved.
Yeah, we'll check back in when we have a target. Welcome back, everybody, to our 11 o'clock is the city of Baskin. The threats here are unknown, and over the last few days, we've actually been pushed out of the city. This is where we did our sling loading video in, and this is where we dropped troops off just across the river there. Is where we dropped them, if you remember, and we sent the T-62s hopefully to hell with them. Unfortunately, they actually got overrun, and it's just kind of a not a good situation for our boys in that town. They all died, unfortunately. But we're here. There's a Russian convoy at an intersection. That's to our 11 o'clock here, 10 o'clock here. We're going to
Deslaving.
use George to slave the Tads over and see if we can see these guys. There's reports of enemy AAA all over this kind of flat area, so I'm not going to be doing bob-up hover attack maneuvers or anything like that. I'm going to be keeping it fast and keeping it a little high to give me some ability to escape in case I need to. Make a left-hand turn here, try and get Georgie to look into that intersection I was told.
And slaving.
This enemy AAA was that. There it is.
Target stored.
He sees it.
Hellfire's up.
Hellfire's up. I'm gonna make a left-hand turn.
Engaging. Firing.
Rifle. Now it is laser guided, remember. Shack.
Target destroyed.
Target's destroyed.
Slaving. Blazed and stored.
Blazed and stored. Great. We're gonna set up for another attack run. All units, Doom 1-1, single Apaches, rifle. Rifle BTR, North Baskin.
Target destroyed.
Shack BTR. Some ground fire.
Firing.
Rifle. Check.
Firing.
Rifle. Woo. Shack.
Engaging.
Rifle.
Target destroyed. Slaving. Engaging. Target destroyed. Firing.
Shack.
Target destroyed. Engaging.
As I come into a hover here in front of the Nalchik Hospital, just want to give a quick thank you to all of the supporters out there for Bacon and Potato Gaming. We really appreciate all of the positive feedback and great energy that you've given us in the responses that we've received, especially from our shorts. We really appreciate it, and it's really motivating for us. Hopefully you found today's video fun and informative. Hopefully you found the Hellfire launch potentially beneficial for your gameplay. This is just an example of the first day on Rotorheads. The Apache hype is definitely well worth it. The module is fantastic. The flight model is 10 out of 10. It is truly amazing. This thing is just terrifying. I mean, come on. We just shot 16 Hellfires from a spaceship. That's how I feel about this thing. Good job, Eagle Dynamics. If I were to give one criticism, I would say fix the darn multiplayer syncing and problems with the Hellfires. It's just crazy. It's hard. Bacon and I are having some problems on the Rotorhead server with the co-pilot gunner seat and the pilot seat, but nonetheless, we enjoy the Apache. We love this release, and we hope you all enjoyed this video. Have a great day. Thank you.